Longevity Lifestyle Designers. This is Zach here with secretsoflongevity.com. Today's I'm doing a Q&A session. So the first question's from Anthony Cohen of Florida, and he's asking my thoughts around good places to eat in Toronto. Well, I don't live in Toronto. I live about an hour and 15 minutes outside of it on a day where there's good driving. I do go there many times per year. I've been living around this area my whole life, so I'm well acquainted with Toronto. In my opinion, the best one to check out is Rawlicious. It's on Dundas. Just search Rawlicious on search engine. You'll find it. Their website and the directions to get there. And the other one's Live. And Live's actually a combination raw food and some cooked vegan foods. My opinion of Live has sort of gone down over the last couple of years. It's actually been the raw food restaurant that's been around for the longest in Toronto, and I've kind of given it the nickname Dive because they've actually given me food poisoning in the recent past, and also I felt kind of gypped on many things I've bought there. Unfortunately, more recently, so I don't know what's happening with the management there, but it used to be very good, and if you're careful what you order on the menu, you can get good things. They, for some reason, are serving green smoothies as green juices. And so I bought this like expensive juice, which was really just like blended greens, like tons of pear, like maybe a few sprigs of spinach for the greens, and then like water. So it was like this watery, sweet green mush that wasn't anything like the juice that I'm used to drinking. So yeah, I just have to give my opinion here because you're asking for a review of the places, I guess. Again, they do have some great recipes and some interesting concepts, so you might want to check them out. They're on, they're right by a subway station. I'm just trying to remember which one. DuPont subway station. They're right across the road from that, and that's DuPont Avenue. Some other great places to check out. There's two, I believe it's a chain. I don't know if it extends beyond Toronto, but there's 2 or 3 of these in Toronto. They're called Fresh. And they're, again, a vegan restaurant. If you're wanting some animal products, you're going to have to perhaps look some other places. But these are places that focus on very fresh, very almost entirely raw menus. Fresh does have a lot of cooked foods again, but they incorporate some really interesting combinations. They have these things called bowls, which are like basically a bowl with a salad, but then they put noodles on top and have like really interesting and creative dressings and other things they mix in with it. So it's a really neat combination. It's very filling and very satisfying. I haven't eaten there in quite a while, but they are a great place to go if you're wanting sort of a combination of things there. If you're wanting sort of Indian food, there's a place called Annapurna. Don't know the street, I don't know the spelling, so if you can sort of just search that, you might be able to find that. It's an Indian food place, and they have some great stuff on the menu. And there's a lot of sort of nice places that are bigger. If you're wanting really good Chinese food or dim sum, you can check out the Pink Pearl. It's a little more upscale and pricey. I grew up going there with family. We'd always do family events there. It's right on the harbourfront. My grandparents used to live in a condo on the harbourfront, so I used to go there like almost every weekend as a kid. Some other places I can't think of right now, but you can always check out, just search vegan restaurant or raw food restaurant in Toronto, or steakhouse in Toronto, or whatever it is you're looking for, and you'll get some sort of the mainstream places, I guess, but I'm not too familiar with the really small sort of hidden places. The other thing you might want to look for on a search is just search Organic Restaurant Toronto, and there are certain restaurants that will just have menus that are completely organic. That could be an option if you're looking for something like that has burgers and other animal product dishes. And definitely my #1 pick is going to be Rawlicious. So if you're looking for something that's raw and vegan, then you can check out that place. Next question is from Hofo Shao. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing your username right, but you're asking about what types of fiber we should be taking and how much. There's 2 types of fiber, basically, in plant foods. There's soluble fiber and insoluble fiber. And I think there's an overestimation as to how much fiber we need. There's a lot of conflicting information out there. Yes, the mainstream, and probably a lot of people, that's all they've heard, is that fiber is the best thing going, get tons and tons of it into you. Well, that's not true, and same with the whole cholesterol myth thing that we've heard for a long time. We know there's a certain amount of these things we need and a certain amount we don't need. It's never all one way and get rid of everything else that's not in line with this. So with the fiber thing, insoluble fiber is sort of like a very gritty, has a gritty molecular structure. It's almost crystalline and actually can be a bit irritating on the bowel when it's done to excess. And actually it can exacerbate certain bowel issues like Crohn's disease and leaky gut syndrome, etc. Soluble fiber is the type of fiber that's more smooth and it gels up. And there's soluble fiber in most fruits. So berries have a lot of soluble fiber. Apples have pectin, which is a soluble fiber. And then of course certain things like chia seed, when it's soaked, the reason it gels up because it has a lot of soluble fiber, and so does flaxseed. And then there's also things like marshmallow root and slippery elm bark. And when these things get wet, they actually expand. So in fruit, it's not going to expand because it's already moist and expanded. But in things that are dried, they will gel up or expand and become sort of like squishy and viscous and jello-like. So what these soluble fibers do in the body, they provide bulk, obviously. Actually, cacao has a lot of soluble fiber, interestingly. And they're very soothing to the digestive tract. So they are very cooling, generally, to any irritation that's going on. They help digestion. And a lot of people have an excess of insoluble fiber and not enough soluble fiber. So instead of thinking how much fiber do we need more or less, it's more like how can we balance these and get that overall level to an area that works best for us. Some people are going to do better with more, some people are going to do better with less. If you're eating a lot of starchy vegetables, a lot of starchy grains, a lot of leafy greens and leafy vegetables, you're probably a little deficient in soluble fiber, and adding some of the nuts and seeds and some of the fruits that have the soluble fiber is going to be more beneficial. Never recommend fiber supplements, so there's no need to take Metamucil, especially if you're eating a lot of plants. The next question's from Twisted Barney. They're asking whether I experience like really crazy dreams or lucid dreaming or a lot of sort of dream activity due to my diet and spiritual practices, meditation, and other things. Well, I do sometimes have pretty crazy dreams. Normally my dreams aren't that far out there, and while I have had fairly lucid dreams, I've actually never had a 100% lucid dream where I'm fully present. I rarely, if ever, have a dream where I'm flying. I could count on one hand the number of times I've had a flying dream, or a dream where I'm flying. And it's usually those flying dreams where people become lucid, interestingly. So if you ever find yourself flying and it's very vivid, you can actually start to pull or push yourself into making it lucid. And this is, you know, it's fun, it's an experience, and you get a chance to explore those realms in yourself, basically your internal world, through that medium. I've done a lot of work with stuff in the past with astral projection or attempted astral projection and other types of energy work, and it seems there's some people that have a lot more difficulty attaining these states than others, and I happen to be one of those that it's just more difficult to attain. I'm not saying that as a negative, holding myself back. It's just the conclusion I came to, and from what I've read after quite a while working on this. And it has to do with how strongly there are bonds that hold your energy body in place to your physical body. So during astral projection you actually separate, and I've been close a number of times, and there's a number of practices that can help you get to this point. And then basically astral projection is a conscious lucid dream, but you're going straight from being awake, so you never actually fall asleep and then wake up. If you are having a lucid dream, it is possible to eventually get to where your physical body is, and you can explore what's known as the real time zone. These are terms coined by Robert Bruce, which is an exact copy of this world. Well, actually it is this world, but you're there in your energy body, almost like walking around it like a ghost. Okay, I might be getting too esoteric for some people, and that's fine. I might get more into these things in the future, but or do a whole video around it and just sort of talk about some of the things I've experienced or I'm aware of. But yeah, I seem to have, and I think everyone has their own, just like in any other daily task or life pursuit, people excel at some things and not so much other things. So lucid dreaming and astral projection have been two things that I've worked hard at creating and have it happen, and I've gotten close and gotten some results from, but it's never something that was really easy for me to do. And also actually, as a matter of fact, my dreams are often very lacking in terms of vivivity, is that even a word? Lacking in clarity, and they're, unless I get into the habit of keeping a daily dream journal, then that starts to make them more and more clear in my mind. I actually remember them. So really it is a matter of honing that skill, and you know, I was never that great at math, you could say, so that's a skill I could hone if I chose to. But I'm very good at other things, and that's what I've focused on through this portion of my life up to now. And in the future I'm definitely intrigued by these things, and I do want to pursue them more, and I know the process that it takes to excel at them, but it's a matter of applying it and taking the time to do that, because it's another whole pursuit, a whole practice in and of itself that takes time and energy and focus. So that's just not where my time, energy, and focus is at the moment. But I do occasionally have some pretty interesting things happen in terms of dreaming. When you do practices that involve meditation and sort of inner explorations, these things can happen, and you can open yourself up to amazing things. And diet can play a role with it. I'd say even more so herbs. And there's a great herb that if you're interested in pursuing these things that you should try, which is, I'm not even going to pronounce it properly, it's Callia zatsuchini or zatsuchini, and it's known as the dream herb, or the herb of dreaming. So if you search online the dream herb, you'll probably find this, and you can order it in bulk. And it's legal. I believe you can either make a tincture of it or you can smoke it. And I've had friends who've used this in the past. I had a friend that made a tincture of it. I should get some of that off him. So you basically just take it before going to sleep in whatever form you're going to take it. It doesn't work. I don't think it works in a tea. It might though. But for some reason it's in my mind you should do a tincture or smoke it. Might be a little harsh in the lungs, I don't know. It might be ideal to tincture it. But yeah, it really enhances the vividity and clarity of dreams. So that's something you can explore if you're wanting to create that in your dream time. So as always, if you have certain key questions that you want to ask them on the YouTube pages here, or send me a message, and I'll put them into my little file for the next Q&A, and once enough questions have built up, I'll do the next video. And if you have a whole slew of questions, or you have more personal questions, or you want to get some feedback on sort of creating some lifestyle changes for yourself, you can always check out the links below for my consult page. And I'm going to actually be changing one of the prices soon. So there's two things you can do. You can either do an email consultation. Right now I have 1 week or 2 week, and you can see the prices there if you go to them. I believe off the top of my head it's $37 and $67. $37 for the 1 week, $67 for the 2 week. And then there's the phone consultation, which is $47 for 45 minutes, or $87 for an hour and a half. Now the phone consultations are going to stay the same, but the email consultations, I've been doing a few of them and find I have to change the pricing because it's not enough for the amount of time I'm putting into them. So 1 week is going to be $67, and that's basically 7 emails. It doesn't have to be exactly in 1 week, so we can take breaks or we can stretch them out. But basically I just do respond with one long email at the end of every day, and it's up to you to get back to me when you find it most easy and able to do so. And if you get back to the next day, I'll respond that evening. But basically I respond with 500 to 600 words, so it's a fairly lengthy email, and usually with each email I'll address a different topic, or we can break it down into different sections. But because I've had those two options out there for the 1 week or 2 week, perhaps some people out there have been wondering if they want to do this. I'm going to leave it up for another week, so it's going to be a special basically. So for the next week until next Monday, I'm going to take it down and change it to just the 1 week for $67. Anyways, check out the consult page and any other links you find below. I'll have links to Facebook and Twitter. If you've never checked me out on there, friend me or follow me on there. Like my Facebook page. And take care and embrace life without limits.